Hey, welcome back all you Gamepad fanatics. This is El Chizo of El Chizo Reviews, and today we're looking at another Belkin controller. I was trolling around on eBay, I saw this, and I just had to review it. However, before we go any further, I need to reiterate what I've explained in previous videos about how I conduct these reviews.
I give these controllers 15 possible points altogether from 3 5-point categories. There are 5 possible points for visual appeal, 5 possible points for comfort in the hand, and 5 possible points for functionality.
Now that we have that out of the way, let's start with the visual appeal category. This is the ugliest controller that I've ever seen, and its biggest sin is it's not trying to be ugly. Take the PlayStation 2 Freaks controllers, for instance. They get a pass because their idea is to look freakish. That's the gimmick. This thing is just nonsensical. It's like a group of aliens wanted to design a gamepad for humans, but didn't know how hands work. On top of that, you have what the Belkin website calls a support bar. What the purpose of this is, I'm not sure. Maybe to keep the thing from collapsing in on itself. I'll come back to that in a minute. For a score of visual appeal, this thing gets a 2. It's just way too weird. Okay, let's move on to comfort in the hand. Remember a minute ago when I said the designers don't know how hands work? This thing tries to be ergonomic and it almost succeeds, but every time I feel like my hand is about to figure things out, like they did with the n52 if you remember me talking about that, they just start to slip or they cramp up. And so I can't... There's no comfortable way to hold this, no matter how hard you try. This thing is just weird. And the build quality, let's see if I can get that on mic. You hear that squeaking? I hope you do. The build quality is abysmal. This thing feels like it could break at any moment, which is why I think the quote-unquote stability bar is here. Because the shape is so awkward that if it wasn't there, you'd try to correct your grip and you'd snap the thing in two. The face buttons are alright, I guess. But the lower shoulder buttons, right over here, are kind of sticky, and the analog sticks don't provide a lot of resistance. Don't get me wrong, they're not loose, but they move just a little too easily for my liking. So for comfort in the hand, the score is also 2. It's just, so far you're not doing so good in n45. And now for the final category, functionality. I saved this one for last because it's actually the only category that it doesn't bomb out of. It works great with pretty much any PC game that takes a gamepad besides Xbox or DualShock. The buttons are all solid connections, and the sticks are really responsive. I tested this on a Geometry Wars game, and the only problem I had with that was because the sticks are so close together, and my fingers rest like this, I tended to trip myself up a lot. My thumbs would bump into each other way too easily because of the design of the gamepad itself. I had no issues using this with games that allowed you to map your own controls like Broforce or my personal favorite Race the Sun. So for a functionality score, it gets a 3.5. It would have been 4 if not for the shape of the controller getting in the way.
So to recap, it gets a 2 out of 5 for visual appeal, 2 out of 5 for comfort in the hand, and a 3.5 out of 5 for functionality. All of that adds up to a grand total of 7.5 out of a possible 15.
I mean, wow. This thing gives me less of a reason to like it than that third-party PS3 controller I reviewed ages ago. I'll put a link in the description down below so you can see what I mean. That being said, would I recommend it? Not strongly, if at all. You would have to train yourself to hold this controller in a way you find comfortable and at the same time get used to how cramped everything is. There are better gamepads out there. Don't get this one. I spent my money so you can save yours. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like if you enjoyed this video and comment if you are so inclined. This is El Chizzo, signing off.